She holds an MSc in mathematics, an MA in English, an MBA, and an LLB, and is working towards a PhD in mathematics. She worked in finance for several years in India and Singapore. Her bio says it all, but she is all of that and much more. And I, for one, look forward to the workshop. Thank you for being here, Aditi.
Thank you,
Over
Natasha,
to you.
for having me. Thank you. So can everyone hear me? Yeah? Great. Oh, yeah, I think the mic is working. Okay. Okay. Just going to keep an eye on the time. So good morning. Happy Republic Day. Happy Republic Day. How many of you attended flag hoisting this morning? Yeah, I know, so did I in my building before coming here. And, you know, I think Republic Day is the mic too loud? Republic Day is a really great day to do a workshop on writing historical fiction because I think, like Independence Day, Republic Day is a great occasion to think about how far we've come as a nation and where we want to go. And to do that, the first step is understanding our past. So this is my book. It's my latest book, The White Lotus. It's a historical novel and it's a murder mystery. And it's set in 1901. 1901 is a really long time ago. Definitely before anybody here was born. Probably before any of your grandparents were born, great-grandparents. So who knows what life was like in 1901? Again, she's 14. She's looking for, how do you think you would feel? I mean, not how you would feel now if you were 14 and about to get married, because that is highly illegal. But let's say it's 1901 and you're a teenager about to get married. How do you think you would feel? It's okay, whatever it is. No wrong answers.
Basically, what my friend was that she would be really angry with her parents for getting her married really early.
No, that is valid. I mean, if now definitely.
Though she said it in different words, I'm phrasing it differently.
Right. You would be not, I mean, that is true. That is also true. I mean, it's a completely new thing to do. It's like if you're starting at a new school, starting a new grade, getting a new teacher. When you start something completely different in life, even if you feel like it might be exciting and it might be interesting, you still feel nervous. And so this is what Arali is saying about what she expects. She says, we won't have our own home yet. Sundaram's just begun working. So Sundaram is the man she's married to, whom she's going to go and live with. He's a few years older than her. He's 17. And it'll take time to save enough to build a house. Amma says it's as well, so I don't have to start worrying about cooking and housekeeping right away. Would it be so hard, though? In a place of our own with a little backyard with mango and lemon trees and a shed for a cow, would it be so hard to cook and keep house? Sundaram and I have little expectation of inheritance, but it doesn't matter. I know we can live on what he earns, he and I together. Amma thinks I have a good head for numbers. We won't be rich, but we'll be happy. So I think one thing to keep in mind, and we have this tendency very often to think that things that would be horrifying to us, and rightly horrifying to us, today if a 14-year-old were getting married, it would be a dreadful thing. But at that time, this is what Arali has grown up expecting. You know, like we expect that now you'll finish school and you'll go to college and then you'll get a job and then maybe in your 20s, if you want to, you'll think about getting married. At that time, they would have said, all right, you get married when you're young, then you go and live with your husband, then you have children, and that is kind of how your mind works. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. And now all of you had ideas that you shared about what life would have been like in 1901. So I'm going to ask you, how do you know these things? You read, all right? You read? Uh-huh.
Not sure if it's like reliable or not.
Sorry?
like maybe like sometimes the history information is not reliable
Okay, so
from
yeah.
some books, but then like we get information from only books or people who've actually been in that time.
Okay, so that's, so you can speak to people who've actually been around at that time for
Yeah, so
recent history,
basically,
yeah.
I went to this place, the Partition Museum, where there were people, like there was an interviewer, and he was interviewing people who were in the time of the partition.
Uh-huh.
And they were explaining what it was like, what all happened and all. So maybe something like that.
Okay, that's a very good thing. What else? How else do we know how people lived in the past?
From that time.
We have
We
books
can-
written from
we
that
can
time.
Find that books.
Yeah.
Like when I went to Bangalore, Church Street, I bought this book that was from 1873.
Oh, you bought a book that was written in 1873?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. What was the book?
Child Life in Prose.
Sorry?
The book title was Child Life in Prose.
Okay.
So I bought it and then I started reading it. That's how I also know a few things.
Okay, so that's where, and all right.
So it was basically about like what happened in the English times, how children grew up there.
Okay.
What all they played and how was their childhood and all. So the book was about that. So that's how we learned more things.
Okay, so it's about what children were like at that time. Okay. Okay, does anyone at the back want to share anything? No? Okay. Over there, I think.
Through photographs.
Through photographs, yeah. That photographs, paintings, if we're talking old times, because I think one thing that's fairly true is that now, you know, we do a lot of AI editing and photoshopping and stuff, but photographs from the 1800s are a little less likely to be lying. You mean like within family stories that are passed on for generations? That's true? Drawings? Yeah? Sculpting? Okay, yes, that's true. I mean, I think some of the ideas, because sculptures, the one problem is they tend to be of famous people. So you will probably know how a king liked to be depicted or a queen liked to be depicted or, you know, a famous general or somebody. Yeah.
Pictures, something like that.
Something like that. So, but I think, well, there are, it's not really a problem, but one of the things is that things like architecture and art and sculpture, all these were commissioned by rich people. Yeah. So what you're going to see is how, you know, not just in India, all over the world. So if you look at, you know, Renaissance Europe, you are going to see what the Medicis wanted you to see. If you look at India, you'll see how kings wanted to be depicted or what kings and queens and princesses wanted to put on temples.
Maybe like the ruins of a city, like the Indus Valley, there are some ruins where the people used to live in the city.
Yeah, that's, you know what, that's really interesting. So how many of you like Agatha Christie? Yeah? Okay. So she also, of course, wrote murder mysteries. Sorry? Agatha Christie. Yeah. So, and so her husband was an archaeologist. And in those days, being married to an archaeologist meant that you would also, like, I think she went to Baghdad a lot and Babylon and places like that. So she said in one of her books that she loved doing that because when you find something simple, like, you know, a piece of a broken pot or a piece of jewelry or something, that tells you a lot about the common people. It tells you that somebody was saving up bangles for their daughter's dowry, or it tells you that this is the kind of pot in which people cooked, and that tells you a lot about how regular people lived, which is so that's a really good point. So with books, I think one of the problems, so I went to college in Hyderabad. I went to St. Francis College. So if I were to write a book about, you know, 2000s in Hyderabad, I might say St. Francis College is the best college in Hyderabad, no competition. But everyone would not necessarily agree with me, right? People who went to other colleges might have other views. And that is one of the problems, even with first-hand accounts. Every writer, you know, no matter how unbiased you think you're trying to be, there is a bias. You can't do anything about it, because when you're writing at some point, you are putting yourself on the paper, and what you believe and what you think comes out. So when we read historical accounts, that's always something we need to keep in mind. Who has written that historical account? And so to get a good idea, especially when you're researching for a book, you kind of want to read historical accounts from different people, different kinds of people, so you really know exactly what was going on. And oral histories, which you were also talking about, are also very important. That's stories that are passed down. It could be stories that are passed down in families. It could be a story that's passed down in a particular school or a college or a workplace. Could be anywhere. And humans love stories, so ultimately this is how we pass our histories down. Books are all right, like people read them, but what humans really love are stories. We turn, real kings and real queens into the heroes of epic legends, and we tell our story. Okay, so right. Now, before we go on to the writing exercise, which I thought we would do, I'm just going to read a couple of other short extracts from the book. All right, before that, I will ask you one thing. So I started by saying Areli is on the verge of getting married, and she's kind of excited, kind of nervous, right? How you'd feel if you were, starting a new grade or a new job or something. And I also said this is a murder mystery. So what do you think is going to happen now? Yeah, exactly. So her husband is going to have an accident. He works in the temple as an accountant. On the way home one day, he is going to slip on the steps and he's going to hit his head, and Areli is now going to be a widow. Which, yes, a very good observation. On the cover of the book, I don't know if you can see it, she's bald because, yes, absolutely, a widow was expected to shave her head, because the assumption was that a widow had no longer any reason to look beautiful or look attractive, and so she was supposed to shave her head in order to keep from, appearing attractive. And so what do you think that does to her? Now, one thing is she has to shave her head, but how else does it affect her life? Yeah, I mean, naturally, I like to think she was not unwilling to marry Sundaram. She was fond of him, so she would have been unhappy, she would have been sad that he died. What else would she feel? Yeah?
Maybe she takes it upon herself to solve the mystery of why he died.
I know, very good. Like, I feel like if you guys start reading this book, you're going to know who done it within the first 50 pages. Yeah, she will take it upon herself to solve the mystery. But, but that, again, is another thing, because it's not going to be easy for her, is it? Because she's, aside from everything else, she's 14, which is very young. And she's so, okay, I'll ask you to think about something else which may not be as relevant to 14-year-olds now. But at that stage, if you were 14 and you were married and then your husband died, who was going to pay for you? You would have to get, I mean, ideally, yes, today you would say if you're married and you have to get a job. But at that time, so we're talking about a girl who's never been to formal school. She can read and write in Tamil because her mother has taught her, but she doesn't know to read, write, speak English. She has not got any qualifications, so that's the thing. She's qualified for nothing. Who's going to give her a job? So in this case, the answer is that the local landlord, the Mirazdar, his children, offer her a job because they're partly doing it, in order to improve the lives of people who are in difficulties. They offer her a job looking after their grandmother, which is, not the kind of job anyone dreams about, right? It's the kind of job you do when you don't have a choice. But in Areli's case, one benefit is that because they want to sort of help her, they also arrange for her to have lessons with the local schoolmaster, which they hope will help her get a better job in future. So there is that. So if you were a widow and you didn't have this kind of opportunity, you would be in a lot of trouble, because you would either have to live with your father or with your father-in-law or, brother-in-law, somebody like that. who would have to look after you, and that would mean they would have to spend money on you, at least for your food, and it would not be pleasant, because it's never pleasant to be fully dependent on somebody else in that way and put yourself in a position where, you know, at that time people would have said they would have said a lot of things. It would not have been a great situation. So Arali naturally takes that opportunity to get herself out of this situation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read, this is a short bit from immediately after Arali's husband has died, and she's gone to visit her parents-in-law. He is her father-in-law, led us away from the others into the backyard. It was slushy from the rain. So it is a very rainy time, that's why he slipped and fell. Mud squelched between my toes and spattered the bottom of my sari. The carvings that decorated the base of the wall were barely visible. And I'm going to read one more bit, which to me is a nice bit because it is why the book is called The White Lotus. So Arali is saying, Amma's taken me to the temple at least once a month, as far back as my memory stretches. At that time, temples, as I'm sure you know, and it were also social gathering places. So it wasn't just where you went to pray, it's where you would go to meet people, where children might go for lessons. I thought I knew Bhudevi's carven face by heart, having gazed on it so often. But I could swear it was a different face she turned on me today. I can't say what was different. The priest had draped her in a yellow sari, a pretty color, but not an unusual one. She was wearing the diamond necklace containing the stone that the English call the white lotus. Always noticeable because of how it seems to dance in the light from the lamps. And that's the reason the book is called The White Lotus, because of this diamond, the white lotus, which is the center of the story. And, sorry, let me just, can we give them the papers, the worksheets? Okay. So while we're handing around the worksheets, the kids to begin with, and then others. Okay, so while we're handing around the worksheets, the first exercise, I thought we'd do a dry run. So the first exercise in the worksheet is sort of seeing how you engage your senses with daily activities. So what I thought we'd do is, now this morning everybody came to the Lit Fest, right? So what I'd like to do is think about the things you saw and heard. Okay. The things you saw and heard that you noticed or that interested you on the way to the Lit Fest. So before you start writing, maybe you could just do that. What did you see on your way in? Okay, how did you come here? Let's start with that. Does anyone drove here? Took a bus? Yeah? You drove, okay. So what did you see on your way in here? Buildings? Okay, buildings everywhere. Cars and bikes. And when you came in, like when you entered the Lit Fest, what did you see? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the big balloon, right? That's really cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And how many of you attended flag hoisting this morning? So what do you remember? What did you see there? Mm-hmm.
We did the sign language Jana Gana Mana.
Okay.
So then after that, the flag hoisting. Then, yeah, then we just, like, it was all done. We saw the march past, like the dance by the folk dance by the people.
Okay. So what kind of music was playing during the dance?
Some Telugu traditional music.
Okay.
Traditional.
What else? What else did you notice? Any interesting smells like plants, flowers?
I didn't notice any smell,
Uh-huh.
but then like for some reason I felt like today was a bit more chilly than the other days.
Okay. Okay, that's very interesting. So I will give you a couple of minutes, maybe take the worksheet and fill in the things you can. I've put in a few different things like having breakfast and I think waiting for an exam result or something. What are the things? So one thing, that I would always notice in a class when I was bored and it felt like it was taking hours is the ticking of the clock. When you're bored in school, that's the one thing you can hear above everything else. So I'd like you to think about that. What are the things that have engaged your sense of sight, your sense of hearing? What do you want? Why don't you give us a different one?
I'll do most boring thing.
Okay, yeah.
The most boring thing to do for me is people do nothing, listening to bad music, feel boredness, taste delicious plain food, smell disgusting smells.
Okay, no, you can keep that. You still need it. Okay. Anyone else done? Anyone on this side?
While eating breakfast, I can see my house. I can hear people talking and the fire burning in the kitchen. And I feel excited for the day to start. And I can taste the food I'm eating. And I can smell different foods which are on the table.
Okay, thank you. That's very good. So you can smell foods on the table. Okay. Would you like to share anything? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so on the way to school, there's this place where we see the sun like every day rising, and then I hear people talking. I feel very sleepy because it's very early in the morning. I don't taste anything, and there's always a smell of smoke outside the bus.
Oh, there's smoke from the traffic. Yeah, that's a. Would you like to share? No? Okay. How about you? Yeah.
Eating breakfast. Seafood in a plate.
Could you speak
Hear
up a bit?
wind,
I think.
wind, bird sounds. Feel satisfied, energetic. Then eating breakfast, yummy and delicious. And then smell aroma.
Smell what? Sorry.
Aroma.
Aromas. Okay. Okay, that's lovely. Does anyone at the back ready and want to share? It's all right. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, so just go ahead if you'd like to share something. No? Just wait. What about over there? Would you like to share? Yeah? Okay. Just pass the mic. Here you go.
So my favorite thing to do is reading, in which I see lots of words and I hear music while doing it, and I feel like role playing the character. Then I don't taste anything and I can smell the paper.
Okay, that's very interesting. So which of those do you think is the one that stands out most to you?
Sorry?
Of all the things you've mentioned, which is the one that you think really stands out the most? Like, which will you remember even 20 years later?
I can remember the story even after 20 years later. I have a good memory power.
That's very interesting. Oh, what about anyone here? Would you like to share? No? All right. Okay. Okay. So we had some really interesting answers, and so one of the things I'd like you will take a moment and we'll maybe talk about that together. Which of these things do you think are going to be familiar to people from a completely different time? So we don't know the future. So I'll say which of these things are going to be familiar to people from 100 years ago? So if, someone has written like, yes, absolutely, that's very good. So sunrise is something everyone will always know. Yeah? there were tests, although nervousness, I think, is a very, very common emotion for humans. Yeah? Sorry? To get bored, okay, boredom is something that humans experience very commonly. You know, one of the things that that probably people wouldn't know about that we have is food, because the people from 100 years ago would have no sense of familiarity if you know, with the food we're having now. Although some things like probably things like sambar, idlis, traditional foods, biryani in Hyderabad, they would have known in the past. But if we talk about things like pizza and burgers, yeah, nobody knows. So if you are trying to, and the other thing I think people might find it hard to relate to is traffic noises, because people have been talking about that, right? When you came in here, you heard traffic noises and all the glass buildings and everything. So that is one way in which the world is very different. So if you are trying to describe things that you see now in a way that people can relate to them from a completely different time, so I'm saying in a way that, you know, people from 1926, we needn't even go back to 1901, can relate to them, what do you think are the things, are the words we would use if you wanted to describe what it's like to go on the street today in a way that someone from the past can understand it? Confusing, yeah, but we want to, I mean, that is a good answer, but we also want them to know what it feels like, what it sounds like. Sorry? Irritation, but that's true, yeah? Chaotic, okay. So what I would like you to do, it's great, like we've got some great words here, but think about words that are specifically saying, you know, what is it that you hear? What does it sound like? What do you see? What does it look like? Because I think the way we interpret adjectives also changes a great deal. The way we interpret something being chaotic now is probably very different from how someone in 1901 would have felt if you said something is chaotic. Again, technology is a word that we know, but someone then, for them, maybe H.G. Wells or something would have been the height of technology. Yeah? Okay, yeah, so that is great. That's a great answer. But what I'm looking for is, what's your name? Kimaya. Okay, so Kimaya mentioned the sunrise, which CC is on her way to school? Yeah, in the bus. So that's something that anyone from any age will relate to, because people can always see the sunrise. So what are the things that you think you might see and hear that people can understand? So I think one of the things is someone was saying that when you're traveling to school by bus, you can smell a lot of smoke. And that is something, because people know the smell of smoke. They may not know specifically the smell of, you know, smoke from vehicles, which smells very bad, but they would understand it being smoky, roads being smoky and foggy. What else do you think you might use? Okay, so let's say that you want to describe what you saw here. What are some of the things that you see that you think you could describe to someone from another time in a way that they could understand? I mean, okay, let's say we have these like big shiny buildings, right? All the glass plates and everything. Yeah, you could say really big buildings. Yeah, so I mean, you could say big buildings because they can understand the concept of tall, and you could probably use some way to describe how they're all shiny because of the glass and chrome and stuff, right? And what else do you see outside? Yeah? Sorry? Fountains, yeah. Fountains have existed for a very long time, so definitely. Yes? Trees and greenery, someone is saying over there. Yeah? Yeah? Sorry? Buildings made of layers, that would be a very good way of putting it. Yes? Sorry? Oh, where's the mic, if someone could pass it on? Oh, rickshaws. Rickshaws, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, again, push carts have existed for... Yeah, some of the animals are going to be familiar, but not wandering freely on the street. Yeah. Yeah, great. So I think you've got an idea of this. So the next thing I'd like you to do is the next section of the paper. So I would like you to write the things that engage your senses that you associate with certain emotions. So when you write joy and when you remember feeling joy, what is the thing that you noticed? You know, the sounds that you heard, maybe there's a particular kind of music that you associate with happiness, or a particular taste. It might be your favorite food made by, you know, one of your parents or your grandparents. If you associate something with unhappiness, it could be something that made you feel unhappy. So think about that. They've done so far, what are the things that make you feel happy? Do you want to share? Okay. Listening to music, what kind of music? Any music, you just really like music. Yeah, that's nice. And what about what makes you feel angry?
Unfair practices.
Unfairness. Yeah, I think that's really interesting because every book almost that I've read is just part of the human condition. The thing that makes people feel the most angry is if they think someone's been unfair to them or being unfair to them. That's a very astute observation. Anyone else? What about you?
Which one should I say about?
Sorry?
Which feeling do I say about?
Just pick one.
Okay,
Worry?
Okay, I'll take worry. Worry about my family affairs. If like something's not going good, I feel worried.
Okay, you mean in your family if someone is
Yeah.
unhappy or something?
Yeah,
So.
yeah. If something is wrong.
That also is a very astute observation. Sometimes when people close to us are unhappy, we feel worried. Yeah? You're a bit like Hermione Granger. You like Harry Potter? Yeah. Yeah, no, that is true. That is a very good feeling. And what about, what else do we have there? What about peace? What makes you feel peaceful? Oh, that's nice. So that's good. That means you have a great family life, which is amazing. Oh, you want to share? You don't want to share? No, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, so I won't force you, but don't be shy. Would you like to share?
Which one?
Okay, why don't you share curiosity?
I'm curious in every single subject.
Okay,
So-
that's great.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
Okay, so you like learning. That's wonderful. What about at the back? Does anyone have stuff they want to share? Would you like to share? Yeah? You get joy with your friends, that is wonderful. And what makes you sad? You're not sad, oh, you've not thought of it. Okay, never mind. Anything else you've thought of that you'd like to share? Oh, okay, so like in school, everyone else is getting a turn to do something and you're not, and I mean, being left out, yes, that's definitely a big thing. What about you? Would you like to share, Edith? No? Are you sure? You've got quite a lot. No? All right. What about, do you want to share? No, go ahead. There's no need to feel worried. I mean, there are no wrong answers, just whatever you've written, because it's your truth, right? So it's fine. You feel peaceful when you listen to music? Yeah, I think music is something that is very relaxing for a lot of people. Would you like to share what you've written? Not yet? Over there? No. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I'm not a school teacher, so I'm not forcing people if they don't want to answer, but I do just want to say don't be embarrassed. You know, if you would like to share something, there are no wrong answers, just go right ahead and say it. All right, so the last bit of the exercise, we spoke earlier about oral histories, right? Stories. So, how many of you, I mean, you all have older relatives, grandparents, great aunts, great uncles, aunts and uncles. Do they tell you stories? Yeah? What kind of stories do they tell you? Of their childhood. So, what do you know, like, based on what they've told you, what do you know about what their childhood was like if you... Sorry? How were teachers at that time? They used to hit the students. Okay, on the knuckles like that. With a scale,
Even
all
some
right.
of my teachers told me that in that time, teachers used to be like this.
Okay, so you've heard about how teachers were very strict. What about you? Really? Is your dad sitting here? No? Okay, what naughty stuff did he do? Okay, I don't know if you would call that naughty if he was defending his brother. But yeah, violence is never the answer. Please don't beat up people. What about you? Did you hear fun stories?
Yeah, so there was this jar of cookies or biscuits that
Uh-huh.
was on a shelf, and then they used to try and get them off.
So it was on a high shelf and they had to climb. And did they fall?
Yeah.
They used to fall. And then they got caught and they got scolded. I know, this is so cool, right? I mean, and I'm sure they tell you things like don't eat too many cookies and don't climb up and stuff. They have no shame.
Even things like my father told me what he did when he was small. Like he took a like something really bad he did. He took a compass and he was playing sword fight with it with his parents, like the sharp part.
Oh,
And
good
he
heavens.
actually jabbed himself in the eye.
Ooh, that's awful.
Right next to the eye, just so close for blinding himself.
But he didn't blind himself, lucky. And I'm sure he learned a lesson from it and didn't play with his compass anymore. Yeah. What about you?
How they travel.
How did they travel?
They travel with this lunchbox, right? The big.
Oh, you mean when they went to school or when they generally traveled?
When they travel to the school.
Oh, okay, when they went to school.
The metal lunchbox, the big.
Oh, they used to take a
with
big
four
lunchbox.
boxes.
So they had like a 4-course lunch.
I
Yeah.
still have one of those.
Do you take it to school?
Ancient. She's home. No, I don't go to school.
Oh, okay, you don't go to school. Okay, anyone else? Anything fun you want to share that you've heard from older members of your family? You can write, I've said poem, but you can write anything you want. It could be a paragraph, it could be a bit of prose, it could be like 100-word flash fiction. But there's just one rule, and that rule is that it has to be set before you were born. So think before you were born, so when your parents were young, when your grandparents were young, something like that. And you can use the exercises we've done now, you know, how we engage our senses and use that to relate to other people, to write something. It could be anything you like, a short bit, about something that's set before you were born. Okay, everyone good with that? Yeah?
The war is over. Our country is ours again, now forever free.
That is lovely. So that's a haiku about Indian independence. And it's a very topical thing to write about today. Anyone else? No? Yeah, you'd like to share? Okay.
Once my mother fed my brother some food and she went to pick up a call. When she came back, she saw my brother mixing pickle into the dal. So he'd emptied the whole bottle by the time she caught him.
Okay, and okay, that is quite funny. So what happened after that? Did she tell you? Like, yeah, he had pickle all over his fingers. I guess he must have been quite young. Anybody else?
My mom and her siblings go to the school on their bicycles with 2 pigtails and with flowers, with their big lunch boxes. And in those days, they used to play a lot of games outside, like hide and seek, and those stones and the ball, right? We hit the ball with the stones.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, and also Tokkudu Villa. I don't know what to say in the English.
Okay, that's all right.
And they will, everyone will gather and eat together.
Okay, so
in
they
those
would,
days, yeah.
all the friends would eat together.
All the
okay.
friends and all the siblings. There were like 5 siblings. My mom has 4 siblings. So they used to gather and eat together.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Do you want to share what you've written? No? Oh, you'd like to share? Yeah.
Teachers used to hit kids. That was before I was born. Kids had to work throughout the day. That was before I was born. Kids had to get married young. That was before I was born. Kids had to walk to school no matter the weather. That was before I was born. What used to happen before I was born?
Oh, that's quite nice. So clearly from this, we should all be very glad that we live in the present day.
So I wrote a poem.
Okay.
There lived my parents without TVs and phones. Still survived with laughter, games and joys were the ones sown. There lived my parents in schools so far. Played with friends with joy, where all are a shining star. Wish I could go back then and understand the life. It would be very fun and everything could start.
That's lovely. Well done. So we'll just give the young man over there another minute and then I think he'll want to share. So I think what's come out with this, and is absolutely great, is that the past doesn't, or writing about the past, it doesn't have to be dreary or dull or anything like that, because a lot of you have come up with a lot of funny stories. That young man about how his brother mixed pickle with dal, which is something I think could equally have happened in 1901, because at that time also they had pickle and they had dal. And so the past is as full of people of different types. So as full of people of different types as we are today. And I think that's one of the most important things to remember when you're writing not just historical fiction, but fiction of any sort, is that in any place, in any time, on any planet, if you're writing science fiction, in any world, in Middle Earth, here today, in, you know, on Tatooine or somewhere in Star Trek, or 5,000 years ago or now, people are people. They feel joy, they feel sorrow, they feel anxiety. They also feel petty things, like they will feel envy and jealousy, and they will be unhappy that someone did better than they did at something. All these things will happen, and there'll be funny moments and sad moments. And the most important thing to do when you're writing anything set anywhere is to remember that nobody is perfect, no time was perfect, and people are the one constant throughout everything. Human beings have, you know, evolved, but they've not changed in their natures. Okay, the young man there, are you ready now?
I wrote a short paragraph.
Okay.
A dark, gloomy day, 1916 Paris. Streets are bustling with people, some on carriages, some on foot. The air was filled with chattering and laughter. People wore clothes of all types.
Okay, that's very interesting. Why did you pick that?
I was thinking of different scenes to pick, and I thought this was the most interesting.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that is true. There's something, I think there are just so many books set in Paris that we kind of tend to be absolutely fascinated with it. That is, there we go. Yeah, okay. I will just take a minute now if anybody has any questions or anything else they want to share, or anything they want to talk about, yeah?
In the cover of the book, there are steps. Is that the steps where he fell?
It could be, yes. So unfortunately, I don't draw the cover myself. We kind of, an artist reads the book and then imagines the cover. So yes, those could be the steps where he fell. Yeah? Did I learn about okay. So in my case, a lot, I mean, some of it of course comes from research, like reading and looking at old photos, but a lot of it also comes from talking to people, to my grandparents and people like that who were not born in 1901. But I think one of the things is that the world from, say, 1900 to 1940 changed a lot less than from 1940 to 1980. And 1980 to now, I think it is completely unrecognizable. So technology evolved more slowly in the past than it does now. Thank you, everyone. If you enjoyed the talk, if you'd like to get the book, it's at the Festival Bookstore, and I'll be around for a while to sign copies, and I've got some stickers to put in the book for those who buy them.